Welcome to another episode of In the Zone. I am your host, Chris Broussard. We've got a tremendous show for you today as our guest, Earl Watson, drops some bombs, some great stories about Russell Westbrook, Devin Booker, talks a little bit about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, LeBron James. Great show for you, great interview with Earl Watson, former coach of the Phoenix Suns. We also, of course, will have Knockdown Jay with my man, Jason McIntyre. But first, as always, we have to start off with a top five. So I was sitting back earlier this week watching a game with the Houston Rockets. They came back and beat the New Orleans Pelicans. Chris Paul and James Harden looked tremendous, combined for 46 points and 23 assists. So that got a brother to thinking, who are the best five backcourts in the NBA today? So that is this week's list. Top five NBA backcourts. And at number 5, we go to Portland, where we have Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. Now I know you're saying, what? Why so low? These guys are the second leading backcourt scoring-wise in the NBA. But there's more to basketball than scoring, namely, especially when you got 2 point guards or 2 guards, 6'3" and under. There's something called passing. And Portland is dead last in the NBA in assists. And it really isn't even close. 18 assists a game, only team in the league under 20 assists a game. When you have 2 of the best guards in the league, that should not be the case. Then defensively, they got to step it up. Their size hurts them a little bit, but Damian Lillard ranked 62nd in defensive plus minus among point guards. There's only 30 starting point guards in the league. He's 62nd. And then CJ McCollum, 68th in defensive plus minus for shooting guards. So defensively, they leave a lot to be desired. That's why they're number 5. At number 4, I was tempted to move these guys up to 3, but I'm going with Toronto's backcourt of DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. They don't put up the points that some of these other backcourts do, although they still give you close to 40 a game, but they play defense, especially Kyle Lowry. He is a pit bull. He's the type of dude you hate to see on the other side of the floor. The type of dude you hate to play against because he'll beat you up, get physical with you, pick you up, 3/4 court sometimes, and really hound you. And on top of that, he gives you 16 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds a game. And DeMar DeRozan, in the age of the three-pointer, this brother is a throwback, mid-range scorer, slasher, gets to the hole, gets to the foul line. That's why they are number 4 on this list. At number 3, of course, I'm going to Washington, John Wall and Bradley Beal. One of the things I like about this duo is the size. John Wall, 6'4", great size for a point guard. Bradley Beal, 6'5", great size for a 2-guard. Beal, of course, can score any way you want. He can hit the 3, he can hit the mid-range shot, he can go to the basket. And John Wall is one of the best playmaking point guards, best assist man in the league year after year after year. They're explosive, can do it in the fast tempo, up-tempo play, can also do it in the half court. I would like to see John Wall be a better shooter, but he's been improving. But if he keeps improving his jump shot, maybe they move higher on the list. But for now, the duo in Washington at number 3. At number 2, these guys have barely been playing together, but they are fantastic. I mentioned them earlier, James Harden and Chris Paul in Houston. Now let me say this first. James Harden and Eric Gordon, the 6th man for the Rockets, they're actually the leading scoring backcourt in the league. So Gordon's giving them 19 points a game, but Chris Paul, of course, is the better player. Those are the 2 starters. So Harden and Chris Paul, second best backcourt. Chris Paul, since he's gotten back, he's been played only 11 games with the Rockets. They are 11-0. And check this out, in the 10 games that they've played together since Paul came back from injury, Paul is averaging 9.5 assists, and James Harden's averaging 8.5 assists a game. That is unheard of. We have not seen a backcourt put up those types of assist numbers since Magic Johnson and Norm Nixon were playing for the Lakers in the early 80s. These dudes are getting it done. Obviously, Chris Paul makes the defense in Houston better. They're all the way up to 6th in defensive efficiency in the league. A lot of that has to do with Chris Paul. Even James Harden is playing better defense. Defensive plus minus, he's ranked 27th in the league among point guards. Not tremendous, but last year he was 63rd. So he's even giving more effort on that end of the floor. These guys in Mike D'Antoni's offense are dangerous. And I give them a great chance to challenge Golden State for the Western Conference crown. And let me say this, I was wrong. I thought they would struggle together. I thought Chris Paul would be lost off the ball. He's shooting 40% from three-point range, though, showing he can catch and shoot it. And I thought he made a huge mistake, but I was wrong and they were right. And that's why they're the second best point backcourt in the NBA. And at number 1, no surprise, we go to the Bay Area where we find Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers. Not only are they the best backcourt in the NBA today, you heard it here first, they are the best backcourt in NBA history. That's right, Mark Jackson, their former coach, caught a lot of flack years ago when he said they were the best shooting backcourt in NBA history. He proved to be correct with that. I don't care if I catch flack when I say they're the best backcourt in NBA history, because years from now, you will all agree. Bring Isaiah and Dumars. Bring Jerry West and Gail Goodrich. Bring Clyde Frazier and Earl the Pearl Monroe. Legendary names. But these two are better, and here's why. If you look at those groups I mentioned, those duos, they really only had 4, maybe 5 years together when both were in their prime. Steph and Klay in their 7th year together, in their 4th straight year when both averaged over 20 points a game, in their 6th straight year when both averaged over 16 points a game, and 2 titles and counting. These two, you're watching the best backcourt in NBA history, and of course, the best backcourt today. Golden State, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. All right, I'm here with Earl Watson in the zone. Great to have you, man.
Man, thanks for having me. 13-year
veteran in the NBA, 6 or 7 teams. I don't know if we count Seattle and Oklahoma City as the same team.
You can count it. You count it as 2. Add 1 to the list.
Parts of 3 seasons as a coach with the Phoenix Suns. You heard me. I gave my top 5 last week, players 23 and under. And one of your former players, I hated to leave him off.
Yeah.
But I had to. I might regret it. But Devin Booker. Tell me why he deserves to be on that top 5, 23 and under list.
I think for me, he's top 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's number 1?
You can go him or Giannis or Porzingis. You know, those 3 can kind of rotate whatever your preference is on style of play.
Okay.
Right? So for me, Devin Booker, out of those 3, he's the most dominant scorer. He's the most mature. And he has this charisma to him that's Jeter-like.
Really?
Yeah, meaning you can take him into any environment and he's going to capture that room. And I'm not sure you can do that with Giannis or Porzingis. You know, you put Devin Booker in front of a camera, you put Devin Booker in a children's hospital, you put Devin Booker anywhere with people, he is going to stand out. He has that presence.
Wow. Well, I know you were telling us before some stories about him and Kobe Bryant and Russell Westbrook. It seems like he's really got that dog in him, too.
He has that dog, and, you know, I've been had a great career in the NBA, very grateful for that career. And I had a young Gordon Hayward as my teammate in Utah. I had a young Dame Lillard, C.J. McCollum, even Russell and KD. And I played with Ray Allen and Gary Payton, and all these, even Darren Williams in Utah.
Okay.
I had him as well
great, yeah.
when he was like, you know, D. Will that we all knew and loved. Devin Booker scores easily. In a pick and roll, spot up, in the post, off the elbow isolation, and every game winner, he wants that shot. I would come to the huddle, and it's funny. I wish there was a camera in the huddle for game winners, because 4 players are going to look down at you. They don't want that. They don't want that shot. They're going to look down. He would just stare at me, look at me, like, you already know. I'm like, what do you want it? Isolation elbow? Yep. Flatten it out versus Wesley Matthews in Dallas. A week before he hit one versus Sacramento versus Matt Barnes. He demands it, he accepts it, he embraces it, and he feels like no one in the universe, in his words, in the universe can check him.
Really?
Yes.
Who do you compare him to player-wise and then mentally?
Mentally, I compare him a lot to Kobe.
Really?
He takes on that mindset. Like, no one's going to outwork me. You're not going to punk me. I have a lot of dog in me. I'm going to take a hard foul to let you know I'm here. And winning and losing hurts. Winning, I need more. Game-wise, he's different from Kobe because he can run a pick and roll. Kobe run a pick and roll, and it just didn't look right, but he could execute it. When Devin runs a pick and roll, it's more fluid, and he can score off of it. He can shoot, and he can pass. He has a lot of James Harden in his pick and roll. So I've always was a big advocate of putting Devin Booker at the point guard if you're not going to have an Eric Bledsoe. Why not put him at the point guard with a TJ Warren on one side and you have a Josh Jackson on the other side, two big-time defenders? Or pair him up with a undersized two guard that can defend ones, and then Booker run the point like James Harden did last season.
Yeah.
So he has a lot of difference to him and different, dynamics to his game. But I've seen games where Devin Booker has dominated versus Milwaukee and New York easily.
Well, people don't know how good this guy is then. He's in Phoenix. I mean, he's getting some love, but it seems like people don't understand how great he can be or will or is at this point.
He's definitely, I said this 2 summers ago after his rookie season in an owners meeting in Vegas, and everyone thought I was crazy. He is going to be the best player to ever wear the Suns jersey.
Ooh.
And that says a lot.
Charles Barkley, Steve Nash.
Ever. Because what he brings to the table at such a young age, his mindset and his commitment to win. Now, the challenge they're going to have is Devin is not really about or wants to be in a rebuilding process. Mm-hmm. So how quickly can you put younger players or bridge that gap to win now? Devin Booker, to me, is a superstar. He's always carried himself like one. He holds himself accountable like one. And being around great players my entire career, you just knew that instantly, just taking presence in anything that he does.
Is he the type of guy that will have no problem walking away when he's a free agent if they don't have what he wants in place?
I don't think in the history of the NBA in free agency you ever seen a player walk away from his first extension. Yeah. That's never happened. But that second extension is going to be key. And I don't think you can flip on a switch to win. You have to learn how to win now. Nothing changes overnight. It's a process you learn early and you put players around early to win. And you continue to see his development. And just, speaking out, the kid has so much more to his game. Because think about it, he's really their only offensive threat. He's getting these numbers. 46 last night versus Philly.
Yeah, outplayed both Embiid and Simmons.
You know he's going to be the only one shooting the ball, and he still puts up the numbers.
Yeah.
Imagine when he has options around him to spread the defense, and he can operate without getting double-teamed so much.
I heard you say something like he thought or thinks he's as good as Jordan or something like that.
He thinks he's as good as Jordan. He had this conversation before. He was like, I'm better than Jordan. I'm like, how did you figure that? And he was like, what can Jordan do that I can't do? Jordan never had 70 at Boston. And I go, yeah, but Jordan can play defense and he dunks on people. You don't do either one yet. Like, you have a lot of room to grow. But that's just and you can't challenge that mindset. You have to let that mindset take form. You have to let him believe that, because belief is stronger than reality. And he steps on the court, and he might not be the quickest or jump the highest, but yet he's actually dunking on people. Mm-hmm. He's actually getting past people. He's actually making the key plays, and he's hitting game winners like he's been doing this for 10+ years.
Wow. That's some serious stuff, man. And he's gonna be that good. But you play with some great players. You mentioned some of them. Who's the best teammate you've ever played with?
Oh, my best teammate. I would have to say Pau Gasol in Memphis.
Well, okay, so he was the best teammate. Talk about that, but actually best player you've ever played with.
Best player I played with?
Yeah.
I'm biased, man. I'm going Gary Payton my first year.
Okay.
I've seen Gary dominate the game of basketball out of the mid-post and the elbow. He wasn't a big-time three-point shooter, but he dominated the game of basketball. Now, the game at the point guard position has now changed. Mm-hmm. The game has changed a lot. Point guards aren't posting up. But Gary had that presence on both sides of the court. And what impressed me the most about Gary is he knew the other team's play calls and their plays at shoot-around. So as the coach would say, these are the 3 to 5 players we're walking over, Gary will call out the name and teach everyone where to go and what they're going to exactly do. So he really taught me to start thinking about the game differently and to see the game differently and learn the game as if I was a coach before the game even started as a player.
So in games, would he call out teams' plays?
Yes.
Or once they called him out, he'd tell everybody where they're going?
He would tell everyone where they're going. He would yell it out, and he would tell you what that player is going to do.
So what'd that do to the opponents?
I mean,
Did you see on their faces?
You better have a chess game. You better have a counter because Gary would call it out. So if we played the San Antonio Spurs and they called out a play like strong, he's going to be like, point guard's cutting through. He's going to get it back. Screen across from Tim. It's coming for you, Vin. Vin Baker's our teammate.
Yeah.
They're about to post you. They're about to post you.
Wow.
So like he knew it before it happened, and that taught me right there that he was a genius in the game of basketball, and I needed to get my game up as a rookie.
You ever heard any other players do that type of thing?
Yeah, you have some players that do it. Bron does it a lot.
Okay.
Bron's very vocal. He knows every team's plays, and he studies that playbook and watch a lot of film. That's what sets Bron apart. A lot of players want to put in that extra work. LeBron puts it in, like watching film, of course working out extra, and just picking up terminology in other teams' play calls.
Is LeBron still the best player in the league?
By far.
By far.
By far. They won 11 straight games with no point guard. You have no Derrick Rose. You have no Isaiah Thomas, and they're winning games. Imagine when IT comes back, what's that going to do for LeBron? For one, it's going to give him rest because now you have a guy who is also a playmaker and he can put up big numbers. It's going to pull off a lot of pressure. So going down the stretch, LeBron can have his legs for the playoffs in which they know getting through the East and then facing someone from the West is going to be a challenge.
So you don't see it being a clash or any problem when Isaiah gets back?
No, I think it's a great trade early in the season. Even though it's not a trade, you get a new player that hasn't touched the court all year. You get some fresh blood, some new inspiration, great energy, and IT has a strong enough personality to win games so LeBron can just scale back sometimes throughout the season.
A lot of people debate who's the GOAT, LeBron or MJ, or I don't know if you think somebody else. Is LeBron the GOAT?
The GOAT to me is always going to be Michael Jordan. He's impacted the culture of basketball. He's impacted winning. He's changed the game of basketball. He was the first player to really lift weights, and everybody started to get big and lift weights. His work ethic set up everyone else to follow. Until LeBron and Kobe, you can't take away Kobe.
So who would you take between LeBron and Kobe? Because you're right, people don't put Kobe in that conversation.
People should always put Kobe in that conversation. He set the bar. I'm always going to go Kobe. I'm old school. I grew up watching Kobe. I have a great Kobe story for you. You want this one?
Yeah.
All right, so Baron Davis and I started at UCLA freshman summer program called FSP. We're running past the Wooden Center. It's 7:30, classes at 8. We see Kobe Bryant going into the Wooden Center. We're like, Cole, what's up? What's up? He says, what's up? He's like, you playing at 3, men's gym, legendary games. He goes, yeah, I'll be there at 3. We get out of class at 2.
So you're a freshman. You guys are
Baron
freshmen?
Davis now a freshman at UCLA.
And he's what,
with the
a
Lakers,
rookie?
probably his second year.
Okay.
Right? So we're running past the Wooden Center to go change to play pickup at 3 with Magic Johnson in the men's gym. We see Kobe leaving the gym about 2:15. We said, Kobe, did you eat? He said, not yet. He was in there from 8 to 2:15.
Working out.
Then he played at 3. That's Kobe Bryant.
Man.
That's why, to me, I think Bron understood that mindset. He learned it from Kobe with Team USA. And he's picking up on it. You see he's getting hungry for more and more and more. Now, every great player can say what they want to say. They want to set the bar so high, and hopefully someone surpass them one day. But until, you match Kobe's win totals in championships, I'm not sure you can really surpass him to even get to Jordan.
It's going to be hard for LeBron to equal Kobe's championships. LeBron might not get another ring.
I think he will.
If he okay, so is he in Cleveland next year?
If they win a championship, I would say yes. If not, he has to leave.
I've heard you say before he's definitely going to the Lakers.
I think LeBron leaves if he doesn't win a championship. You can't leave a team and win a championship.
Yeah.
It just can't happen. Can you keep players in Cleveland? You have to look at, it's an arms race in the West. Teams are loading up. You have to think, what can you do in Cleveland and stay, engaged and compete with the West? You got to look at Boston. You have to make sure you're always ahead of that game. And he's a great recruiter. Can LeBron recruit Paul George to Cleveland?
Well, I think that Oklahoma City, if they continue to struggle, they should look at moving George. Like in January, if it's not getting any better, why keep him? Because he's probably going to leave, so try to get something for him.
So what are
and
you?
Cleveland will be one of the few teams willing to give something up because most teams would know he's not staying here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but you have to be that's very dangerous if you give up players for Paul George. It's no guarantee Paul George is going to stay.
Yeah, from what I was told, he was willing to stay like an extra year, like maybe next season in Cleveland when they was talking about trading him there. And if LeBron would stay for a year, maybe they could play together. But so if LeBron leaves Cleveland, you think he's going to L.A. or?
I think if he leaves Cleveland, he has to look to team up with either a Paul George or how do we get a Klay Thompson early.
In L.A. though.
And in L.A., what other team can really embrace that impact of contracts financially? It's only a couple of teams. I know it's not going to be Phoenix.
No.
It's not going to be Phoenix. Who can embrace that?
Some of the greats, I think the Spurs, now they couldn't get LeBron and George, obviously, but they got Kawhi. But they would figure something out to get the money, that they would need to get LeBron. I think that'd be a good place, although I don't see him going to that city. I think, what about Philadelphia?
Philly could also be another landing destination. I like what they're doing over there. Are those players ready to win? Remember, he went through that with Kyrie, teaching his mindset to be ready to win. Is he willing to do that again later in his career? Or does he say, if we can team up and I can get another player like a Paul George or whoever's a big-time free agent to meet me in somewhere?
So if he and George go to the Lakers, can they not compete with, but beat Golden State? Or, they legitimate chance to beat Golden State?
You have to retain a couple more people. You have to retain Caldwell Pope. You need another shooter. You have to make sure your style of play and everything moving forward continues to build. And you got to get some veterans to take some vet minimums to come over and be a part of that entire structure, which he's always done throughout his career.
Yeah. Okay. I want to get back to Gary Payton quickly.
Yeah.
Because he's known as one of the greatest trash talkers of all time. Is that reputation well earned? I mean, you played with him. Is he really that big of a trash talker, or was he?
So GP has always had the utmost respect for me, which is rare. I'm a rookie. So we had to be like in maybe February, post All-Star break, and Gary Payton and Vin Baker are sitting by the cooler. And I walk up to Gary. He hasn't yelled at me all year. I'm disappointed because this is Gary Payton's reputation. He's going to cuss you out. He's going to yell at you. He's going to get into you. And I walk up and I go, big bro, I don't know how long I'm going to be your teammate. This is the NBA. I feel like I've been here for an entire season. You've yet to cuss me out. You have yet to yell at me. You have yet to really get on me and teach me how to play defense or play the game of basketball like I see you cuss out everyone else. He goes, that's what you really want? I go, yeah. He's like, all right, take your ass over there and give me some Gatorade with 3 ice cubes. Then I'll teach you something. So I'm like, cool, whatever. I'll start laughing. I go get him Gatorade with 3 ice cubes. I'll bring him back. And he's like, oh, you for real? I'm like, yeah, I'm for real. He's all right, let's go, get on the court. And he started to teach me the game of angles and the game of basketball in a way that no one's ever taught me, ever in my career. And from that point on, I just been like a sponge and listening to his mindset and everything about him. So he's been the most impactful in my career, and that's GP.
You think he'll enter coaching? It sounds like he could.
A lot of great players have a real serious problem entering coaching. It's not the coaching that takes over the game that they really have a challenge with. It's listening to everyone else around them, listening to the front office, listening to ownership on how to play a game that they've actually mastered, which is why you see a lot of players, great players, become the GM. So now they have an influence on the coaching.
Yeah, okay. Well, trash talk. So was he a huge trash talker?
Big time trash talker, but he never talked trash to John Stockton, the only player ever.
Really?
We're playing Utah, first game that we're playing them. We're sitting after shooting round. He goes, baby boy. I'm like, what's up? He goes, this white boy right here? Ooh. He's like, you better not take this for granted. This is a great opportunity. You better respect it and embrace it and understand you're playing against one of the best point guards to ever play.
Wow. And
that was rare for GP because everyone we played up point guard before that point and after that point was trash. Like this point, he's trash. He just get I'm like, he's trash. Like, that's just GP. So he had this respect for John Stockton that was through the roof. And when you played against John Stockton, you understood why. He was the most efficient at his craft. And he would hit you with an elbow that was so vicious, it made you want to fist fight. And he had that consistent layer of toughness throughout every play in the game of basketball.
Wow. Who was the best trash talker you've heard ever?
Outside of GP.
So GP is the best.
Yeah, Baron Davis, my teammate at UCLA.
What's the funniest thing he said on the court that you can repeat on the court or in practice or in the game or what?
He talked trash all game, but mainly on the court. If he dunked on you, he'll let you hear about it. I don't know if he wants me to tell this story, but we're playing at Duke, pushing the ball down the court. They're in front of the Duke's bench. Wojo, Howski, and Baron Davis get tangled up, and they keep tripping each other to get back up. They're like pushing each other down. I'm pushing the ball. I look back again. Baron laid hand to his face real quick. Bop! Quick smack.
The ref didn't see it?
No one saw it. Coach K saw it and went crazy. Baron Davis, I say this all the time, Baron Davis was before his time. He was quick, he was strong, he was fast. Players don't have all three. A player might be quick, Tony Parker. A player might be strong and fast, Russell Westbrook. Baron had the shift to him as well. So it made him dangerous. Like he went in and out. You and the whole weak side defense went in and out the same way. Like he just shook all five players. How is this even possible? Yeah. So he always had that combination to his game. And when he dunked on you, like he dunked on AK, he'll let you hear about it.
Yeah. You mentioned Russell Westbrook. You played with him when he was a rookie. You started beginning of the season, and then he took over. What is it like for a veteran, like when you realize this kid is better than me? Like, what was that like? I
started with Russ first at UCLA. The coaching staff allowed me to train with him in the summer and kind of be his mentor before he even got to the NBA. Okay. So Russ has always been like a little bro, family. And just you want players to become better than you as a veteran. You just want to know a defined role that moves forward. And for Russ to become Russ was exactly what we always envisioned for him, even when we were working him out and playing pickup at UCLA when no one knew about the Russ. Backup point guard to Darren Collison.
When you saw him at that time?
Only got into UCLA because Jordan Farmar went to the NBA. He was going to UC Irvine.
Wow.
Right, he came in at like 6 feet. I came back the next summer, he was 6'3". I run to Ben Howland, I'm like, oh my God, Russ is your best player. He goes, no. Have you seen Kevin Love? Kevin Love coming here? I said, yeah. He's like, Darren Collins? I said, yeah. He's like, Russ. I said, no. I was like, Russ. He's like, no. I was like, trust me, he won't be here past this season. He's your best player.
Wow.
You just could see it. And remember, Darren Collison started his second season at UCLA injured. Mm-hmm. So to allow Russ to start at the point, initially he was coming off the bench.
Yep.
And then he was so good that they had to find a way to start Darren Collison and Russell together.
Did you ever see Russ becoming this good?
Yes, he had a motor that was unique. We played against Miami, and D. Wade at that time was D. Wade. Russ picked him up full court, ripped him, dunked it. As a rookie. Picked him up full court, ripped him again, and laid it up. D. Wade looked back at him like, who the hell is this? And from that moment on, you knew Russ was fearless. He was fearless in his competition, where most players take a seat back because it is D. Wade and they want to be cool with you. Mm-hmm. Russ didn't care about being cool with anyone. Wow. And he still has that same mentality.
I've heard people belittle his triple-double average because, the floor spread guards get more rebounds or whatever. You played and coached in the league. How much of an achievement is that for him to average a triple-double last year?
It's historic. He had a chance to break the record versus us in Phoenix. We had a no triple-double rule. We wasn't going to let them break it. Just put them on the free throw line. Foul them. We beat them. Devin Booker takes over that game, yells at the crowd, this is my effing house, as he drills off like 3 or 4 straight threes.
Wow.
Right? Game is over. A guy who I played at UCLA with who was also knows Russ very well, Billy Knight, comes into my coach's office. It's after the game. It's probably 11 o'clock. He goes, hey, Russ is shooting in the practice gym. I go, is he? He's like, yeah. I said, tell him I'll be down there. So we walk into the practice gym. OKC is getting their food up top. Practice gym goes down, and it's the court. Russ is shooting with no rebounders. So I walk on the court. He stops. It's like he knows from the beginning we've always been in his corner. Mm-hmm. And I walk, his shirt is off. He's going hard. I go, Russ, can't be too hard on yourself. And he looks down. And he goes, I know. I said, yo, proud of you. I love you. But you wasn't going to get that triple-double in here tonight. He goes, I know. I go, but hey, keep your head up. Stay positive. You know, don't be so down on yourself. Don't beat yourself. I know Russ would beat himself up. And he was like, I know. And I told our friend Billy just continue to rebound for him until he leaves. Because it's our little brother. We have this brewing brotherhood that goes beyond basketball. But when we compete, I don't really care about it, and he doesn't care about it. It's the way we were always taught. It's like the Coach Wooden way.
So he's just never satisfied with his play for the most part?
Never satisfied with his play. The triple-double thing was nice, but he really wants to win a championship.
Do you think he will? As the lead guy of a team, is he going to win the championship?
I think he can, for sure. But he doesn't want to join a team to do it.
He's going to stay.
He's going to stay in OKC and prove he can do it. Russ comes from he's cut from a different cloth. Like, his dad is very influential into his life. Russ is like, it's really unique because he's the cool, fashionable dresser, but he's never fit into a mold of the mass. And that's how he plays the game and moves in business of the game. He will not join a team to win a championship. He will not come to the game dressed the way anyone else is dressed. He's going to do it his way, and he's going to do it the right way. He doesn't know no in between. He knows wrong and right, and he feel like this is right, this is loyal, this is where I'm going to win it, and if not, I'm going to give my entire heart trying to win it.
So how do you think he feels about Durant? Not just because he left Oklahoma City, but because, he did the opposite of what you're saying Russ would do.
I think he's disappointed in the move, but they were close enough. I don't think he was ever shocked by the move. You know when you are cool with your homeboy, and then eventually you feel a separation. You're not clueless about that. And that's what they had, because they were really close at one point, very close.
Were they that close when you were there?
When I was there, win or lose, they would come back in the morning and shoot around before practice and work out in the practice gym at 8 a.m. Practice would start at 10. Whether they played 40 minutes or 38, they were in the gym at 8 in the morning going hard together. Like, drills, shots, take a shower, come back and practice at 10. They put in the work. And they kind of drove each other to be better, which was really dope to see and cool to see for two young superstars. So you could tell he felt it, but believe it or not, I don't think Russ put too much energy into it. Russ is not going to be moved like that. You cannot move Russ like that. Russ' whole mindset is he chose to do what he wanted to do. I'm going to do what I want to do, and that's going to stay here in OKC and win a damn championship or two. He has like that Michael Jordan tenacity. He has that Kobe Bryant nastiness into his personality. Where
do you think I don't want to say rift, but it began to kind of pull apart between KD and Russ?
I'm not really sure because I wasn't on that team at that time. But I think just kind of, you can see it sometimes in games. You can see KD kind of pull away as Russ just continue to go, and then everyone will say, pass the ball to KD. Why isn't Russ passing the ball to KD? And you kind of see it go at that point.
Yeah.
But it's really unique. Only OKC knows that true story.
Now, Russ, that is, as great as he is, that's the one thing people criticize him on is he plays the last 4 minutes like it's the second quarter. He just knows one speed. Can he change that, or does he need to change that to win a championship?
I think when you have young players who become superstars, it makes it more challenging to actually talk to them about the game of basketball unless they trust you. So it would have to take a personality that can engage him. I'm sure OKC does a great job of teaching him and showing him film because their staff is amazing, their front office is amazing, and just allowing him to trust that process. Out of nowhere, he's been fed with the most talent he's ever had around him, Melo and Paul George. Yeah. So it's going to be a learning experience, and it's not always easy. When Miami got together purposely, they too struggled early. So it's going to be a learning curve. He has to learn it and fill it out, and Russ is going to continuously study it until he masters it.
So you think this team in OKC will get it together?
I think there's no one in the West who wants to face them in the first round.
Really?
Why would you?
They got to make it first.
They have to make it, but they will. And I can see them sneaking in 5 to 8 seed. But if they get in and they're clicking, it's going to mess up the playoff structure, right? It's going to mess it up, and I wouldn't be surprised if they upset, record-wise, a top seed.
Melo, you played with him too in Denver.
Yes.
And people looking at their record early in OKC, looking at what happened in Cleveland, his years there. I'm sorry, New York. They're saying he can't win. You can't win big with Melo. You played with him. What's your take on that?
It's really kind of ironic because early in his career, LeBron couldn't win and Melo was taking his teams to the playoffs. And LeBron was flying to Denver to watch Melo in the playoffs. Remember that?
Yeah. I've said that a lot. He took them from 17 wins to the playoffs in the West.
Yeah.
LeBron couldn't do it in the East.
Yeah, but Melo, to me, I love Melo. Melo has a lot of game. He's a lot of tenacity. He's not, you have to really find his rhyme and reason and connect with Melo, right? It's not, he has to really vibe with you. Once you understand Melo, everything is like all good. But I love Melo. I love Paul George. I love Russ. I love that big three. How do you create something where the ball moves enough where they all feel involved in every offensive set and they feel like they have opportunity to go at any given time, but if not, they move it quicker? That ball has to move. The pass has to become their best friend. It can't be isolation. You go for 30, I go for 20, you go for 25. It has to come within a natural flow. And it's not easy creating a San Antonio Spurs mindset. You know, Pop started that with David Robinson, Tim Duncan, who to me are the two of the most underrated bigs to ever play the game. But their personality bled into the culture because Pop and RC instilled that personality. And it's just now you see their team just play that way automatically. You
mentioned Cleveland, OKC, as far as maybe competing for the title. So you don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Golden State's winning it?
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I think you always have injuries, you have playoffs riggers, and you have eventually, they haven't really been tested in Golden State. So maybe this playoff series they're tested. You have the Rockets with James and Chris Paul who know how to win games.
Who's the biggest threat in the West to them?
To Golden State? I think the Rockets are the biggest threat because they have the firepower. I think to everyone, I think it is, of course, the San Antonio Spurs, who will let you guys get in front of the camera and fight. And by the end of the season, we're like the number 2 seed. And we're coming down the line, and we don't have Kawhi yet, but wait till we get him. And our entire bench has been well prepared and have a lot of experience with confidence because players have been injured to go into the playoffs and change the game. What Pop did to beat the Rockets without Kawhi last playoffs was remarkable. His strategy, the mindset, the team they had moving forward was incredible. Going into the Golden State series, if Kawhi do not get hurt, I don't think Golden State beats them.
Really?
Not at all.
Wow.
Not
See,
at all.
I thought Golden State would win still in 5 or even 4. But that's interesting. You think the Spurs would have beat them?
I think they were about 20-plus points when that injury happened. In the first game of the season, they just went through them very quickly as well. I think they won by like 30. So, like, it's something about Greg Popovich's teams and Coach Pop and what he does for that team in preparation. He's a master coach.
I know you got to go. Is that the way to beat Golden State, though, big?
You can't beat them big because Draymond and KD are going to be the 4 and 5 going down the stretch. You have to have playmakers and versatile defenders because eventually you will switch that pick and roll. And you have to live with Steph Curry taking shots, or you have to pick your poison and say, protect the rim, and we're going to live with Draymond hitting threes. Because if you pressure Draymond, he's good enough to go past you and be a playmaker on that weak side, which is now Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. I would take away Draymond's playmaking ability and force him to be a scorer.
Okay. My man,
thank you.
Great knowledge, great stories. I could keep you here for another hour, but I know you got to roll.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, for our final segment, of course, Knockdown Jay. I'm joined, as I am virtually every week, with my man, Jason McIntyre. He comes at me with 3 points, and I knock him down. What you got for me today?
First of all, I got to give you some props. The best backcourts list in the NBA. It was about time you got a good list together. I don't know who you got help from. Maybe you were texting LeVar Ball or LeBron.
I'm actually questioning my list now that you agree with it.
Well, listen,
that does not make me feel good that you agree with my list.
All right, let's get to larger matters, Chris. Your guy who you defend to the end of the earth, Russell Westbrook, the reigning MVP, who is shooting 31% from 3, career low 39%. Chris, there's a lot of blame going around in OKC. Whitlock likes to say it's Carmelo's fault. Other people say Billy Donovan. I say no. I remain steadfast. The problem in OKC is leadership, and that falls upon Russell Westbrook.
Who's the leader
the point guard?
The team?
Russell
the
Westbrook. He's
Isn't the coach supposed to be the leader of the team?
What has Billy Donovan done in the NBA?
You're the coach.
He's a head coach.
Yes, exactly.
The NBA is a star league.
The head coach is supposed to provide leadership. What turned around?
You got to be kidding
What
me.
turned around the Golden State Warriors a few years ago?
What, when they
Was it getting a new player?
When they went from
Was it getting a new player?
From a 51-win team that had won nothing.
51 wins to world beaters. What was it? What was it?
Steve Kerr made a move.
What was Steve Kerr?
And put Draymond Green.
What was Steve Kerr?
Oh,
what was his position?
Is that really your comp?
No,
You're comparing the Warriors and Steve Kerr to Billy Donovan, the head coach, and the Thunder? You really think that?
Who is it that drives the bus in San Antonio?
Oh, my goodness.
Aren't they
You're
great without Kawhi?
Popovich
Who is it that drives the bus?
Woo!
I'm telling you, head coaches are leaders. Whose system has made James Harden this incredible MVP candidate every single year? Thank you. Yeah. Who made Steve Nash a 2-time MVP?
Mike D'Antoni.
So these are head coaches. They provide leadership. If you have one team and you don't,
you're really tripping today.
If you and I are coaches, let me ask you: if you and I are coaches, and I have more talent than your team has, and you beat me, who's that on?
Chris,
when
you're
my
making
players
silly
are better,
analogies.
When my players are better than your players, and you beat me, who's that on?
So what is firing Billy Donovan going to do? If that's what you want, is you're saying Billy Donovan's a problem.
I'm not saying he should be fired. I'm saying they got a lot of.
That's who you're going to hold accountable.
They have a lot. No, I got to hold all of them accountable, but not just Russell Westbrook.
No, he's number one. He is the highest paid player, the reigning MVP. He is the franchise. He just signed a 5-year deal.
That's what you going with.
The highest paid player, and I believe league history. I believe league history.
That's just because of timing.
No, Billy Donovan ain't the highest paid coach in the league. He's not thought of as a great coach.
Should Carmelo Anthony come off the bench?
I'm down with that. I think we talked about that weeks ago.
Is that?
But that's not going to solve all their problems.
It'll solve some of it.
Oh, my God. Is that going to start to get Russell Westbrook to shoot right? Is that really going to make that happen? Paul George is having a great season. Well, he's shooting horribly. You're not going to blame. How old is your guy, Melo? 30 what?
33. He's in his 15th year.
He's way past his prime. We can agree on that. You're going to blame that guy?
No. This is what all I'm saying is there's a lot of blame to go on.
No, we agree on that. But who is number one to blame on the OKC Thunder right now?
Billy Donovan.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. We got to move on, Chris. Agree to disagree, okay?
No.
We'll check in on this every week.
I think you better change your mind.
No way. Well, Billy Donovan's going to get axed. We know that. That's how the league works.
I'm not even down on
stars
Donovan.
run
I'm just
the
saying,
NBA.
You don't blame Russell Westbrook. There's more blame to go around than just on Westbrook.
So if you didn't like that, you're going to hate this one. We've seen your Rockets. You love James Harden. He is out of this world right now. Yes, Harden is off the hook. He's playing well. Chris Paul's fitting in nicely. I believe they're undefeated when those two are on the court. I still believe with Kawhi Leonard returning this week that the Spurs are a bigger threat to the Warriors than the Rockets.
Why?
Your call. No, I want to hear your argument. That's me. I know what I got.
Look, I'm not going to sit here and say the Spurs have no shot. Because the Spurs, I've learned to respect them. I was counting them out 8-9 years ago. And they keep getting it done. Yeah. Greg Popovich has a great system, great culture there. So they're going to be very good. They're obviously playing well even without Kawhi.
Well, playing well. I believe 19 and 9, 19 and 8 without the top 5 MVP candidate.
They're going to be very good. They're going to be tough with Kawhi. But I do believe the Rockets are the tougher competition, the bigger threat for Golden State. Here's why. Number one, to beat Golden State, yes, you have to play very good defense, and the Rockets do. They're 6th in the league in defensive efficiency.
Much improved.
You can go back to the reputation of Mike D'Antoni if you want. But right now, with the additions of Chris Paul, P.J. Tucker, you still got Trevor Ariza, Clint Capella at the rim. They're playing very good defense.
I like Capella, by the way.
Okay. Then they're not as predictable as they used to be. You don't just shoot threes or get in the paint. Now you got a mid-range scorer and another playmaker in Chris Paul who, while Steph Curry has embarrassed him at times, Chris Paul still is one of the best defensive point guards in the league.
I'll give you that.
And so the final thing after those two things, to beat Golden State, you have to be able to score with them. And I don't think the Spurs can score with them. The Rockets can score with them. They can shoot the three nearly as well and score, have the offense and the defense to compete with the Warriors. So that's why I would go. Now,
You
look,
say Rockets,
I think the Spurs don't have the athleticism to guard Golden State in a 7-game series and beat them 4 times. Okay, they just don't have enough speed.
Let's start here. What happened in the Western Conference playoffs last year?
They got swept.
No, Spurs,
yeah, the Spurs
and
got
Rockets.
swept.
No, I'm talking Spurs, Rockets.
Well, wasn't Chris Paul playing with the Clippers?
Oh, come on. You serious? You going to go there?
He was. Chris Paul is the first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best point guards
and
in the
he's
league.
never been past the second round of the playoffs.
Okay,
Thank
but
you
he's
very
still a
much.
very good player.
So
great
let's
player.
go back to Spurs-Rockets last year. And I like that Rockets team. After winning game 1 by like 75, right? The Spurs climbed back in the series and won on Houston's home court, I believe, in game 6. And what happened? James Harden wore down. Are we going to see that this year? We don't know. You don't know if he wore down. Was he partying?
Wore down.
Oh.
I don't think it was physical.
So he's mentally weak.
No, I'm not saying that. But the one thing about the Rockets, Chris Paul, even though he's had some very good clutch moments, he has faltered in the clutch in the playoffs at times. And James Harden certainly has faltered in the clutch. Those two have got to prove they can step up. That's one thing I'll give you.
Oh, one thing. All right. Well, you know what number 2 is.
Overall, I think the Rockets are
So you've
better
been
team.
gassing up the Rockets defense. It's been tremendous this year. Guess who's top 5 defensive efficiency without Kawhi Leonard, who you could argue should have been Defensive Player of the Year last year? San Antonio Spurs. There's something about Popovich that scares me if I'm the Warriors. He always can devise a plan to shock you. Remember game 1?
Did he shock them last year?
Well, remember game 1 of the Western Conference Finals?
Yeah. I still think Golden
Spurs
State
were
was gonna
up.
win that game.
Kawhi goes down.
I still think
you
Golden
know
State was gonna
I'm
win.
ride or die Steph Curry and the Warriors, but I'm telling you, something about Popovich, with the length they have on the perimeter, they got young legs. Now inside they got some age.
Does that length have the speed to move with Golden State for 7 games?
Houston ran all last year. San Antonio slowed them down and was able to keep up, and they make their threes. They're not a bad three-point shooting team.
Houston was predictable last year.
So all of a sudden, because they have P.J. Tucker and Chris Paul, they're no longer.
Now you got a little better
Broussard,
mid-range play.
You
You got a little better mid-range play.
Okay, listen, I like the Rockets a lot. And the people are coming after me online because I said it would be a disaster. Chris Paul and James Harden. It's a marathon, not a sprint. We can agree on that, right? This is a long 10 games.
When you start resorting to cliches,
Which
I know
cliche?
you have
Which
no
cliche?
argument.
Marathon, not a sprint? No, how's that a cliche?
Popovich, something about Popovich will
The guy
scare
is a
you.
master.
Give me some facts.
Is
Give me
Popovich
some
the
meat.
greatest coach in NBA history? Is he not top 3? Phil Jackson.
He's top 2.
Red
Between him
Auerbach.
and Phil Jackson.
Okay, so it's not like I'm just saying something about Popovich. The guy's a master. He's a wizard. Warriors added Kevin Durant. Game 1 of the season last year. They win by like 25 in Golden State. I mean, nobody saw that coming. Never underestimate Popovich. Now that one goes to me. Thank you for trying. Finally, here we go. Big game tonight. We're recording the podcast Tuesday afternoon. Big game tonight. Lonzo and the Lakers. Should I say your Lakers because you're tight with LeVar? Can I say that? Your Lakers? Okay. Well, are you embarrassed about being connected to LeVar now? Are you embarrassed? Are you going to go to Lithuania with the Ball family?
I'm not like Mr. Laker.
Ball in the family with special guest appearance by Chris Broussard. I like this Laker team. I said they could go to the playoffs. I'm sticking by it. They're not that.
Why are you sticking by it?
They're not far out, and the West is down.
If you're far out at this point,
Denver
you're really bad.
beat up. Not that good.
Denver's like the 4th seed.
They're like 500. They're
seed.
struggling. No Paul Millsap. The big guy's hurt. We're just seeing some weak softness in the West the last 4 seeds in the playoffs. I like this Laker team a lot. I'm a
They're
Knicks
not making
fan.
the playoffs.
Probably not. I'm a Knicks fan forever, but I believe when I look at this Laker roster, compare it to the Knicks, brighter future for the Lakers than the Knicks.
The Lakers have more young talent. I like their young talent. I like Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma.
Ingram.
I'm not down on Ball like a lot of people are. Jordan Clarkson, Julius Randle, Larry Nance Jr. I mean, they have some
You
nice,
know the whole roster.
They have some nice young talent. But
there's always a but.
obviously the ultimate answer to this is you're going to see what team gets the big free agent in the summer. So barring that, just looking at what they have right now, who wins championships? What do you absolutely have to win a championship?
This guy's good at debate.
What have not you
I
had
know where he's going.
on a championship team since 2004? And that was the first time in about 30 years.
Right. You need a star to win titles.
You need a superstar. A superstar. Who on that Lakers team that I just named, as much as I like those players, who is a definite superstar on that team?
I got to flex for this
Is
one.
there one?
So I had...
Because you know on the Knicks, there's a superstar.
There is. An injury-prone
Kristaps
superstar.
Porzingis.
An injury-prone. I love Porzingis, but he's injury-prone.
Injuries are always a factor.
I forgot
for
Joel
anybody.
Embiid, your biggest
they
fan
can-
now, best
injuries
player
can
in the
strike
NBA.
anybody.
I looked at Brandon Ingram's numbers at the age 20, and I compared them to Giannis's. And Brandon Ingram at age 20 is ahead in almost all the offensive categories than Giannis. Ingram, I've been down on him. I've been down on Brandon Ingram, but you don't think he's gonna be a star?
I could probably point to a lot of players who in year 2 were ahead of Giannis.
Exactly.
What he averaged?
They're similar players in terms of length and getting to the basket. Listen, I was down on Ingram a lot this year because he's not shooting the three, and I was expecting that coming out of Duke where he was a great shooter.
Is he going to be as good as Kristaps Porzingis? Whoa,
you didn't let me answer, man.
Because I know.
So by what age?
Period. Just who's
Well,
gonna have
then
a
we
better
know the
career?
Knicks aren't
Who's gonna
sniffing-
be the better player? Kristaps Porzingis or Brandon Ingram or Kyle Kuzma or Lonzo Ball? It's Kristaps Porzingis.
No, I'm going to
and
go
I
with
like
Brandon
those
Ingram.
guys.
I think Brandon Ingram will have a better. I don't think. Listen, last year was it was atrocious for the Lakers. I should not have read anything into what Ingram was. Now he's playing with a new point guard, new shooting guard, new center, all these new pieces. No veteran leadership on that team, Chris. There's none. That was one miscalculation that they didn't do. Who's the veteran leader? Luol Deng? Guys, he never plays. Is he even providing leadership in the locker room? Who's running that team? And they don't have a Chris Paul type personality. Lonzo's passive. Ingram is passive. I mean, is KCP or is Jordan Clarkson your leader? Like, they don't really have one. And I believe once they bring in a big-time free agent,
Ingram?
The reason the Lakers have a brighter future, Ingram, and then you get a veteran in there, LeBron, Paul George. We're going to see Ingram take the next step.
We're talking about who you have right now. Neither team has the core of a championship team.
Bro, no. The Knicks have nothing outside Porzingis.
No.
Nada.
But what they do
nothing.
have.
Zero.
But what they do have is the superstar.
Oh, you need
the
talent.
Lakers don't have
They're in
the
salary
superstar.
cap hell thanks to the bad Noah
that
contract.
Can be changed.
Oh, yeah. They can just dive out of it. Because they got that dope of an owner, James Dolan.
I don't want to debate who somebody may get in free agency. We don't know.
The question is,
of course, if the Lakers get LeBron,
Lakers have a brighter
better
future. They've got Magic Johnson in the front office to woo free agents. Draft picks. Magic Johnson, that guy's an icon. What do the Knicks have in the front office? James Dolan, one of the worst
He's
owners.
not in the front office.
He's running the show.
No,
He's
I think
entire.
Scott Perry and Steve Mills
Oh
are now
yeah,
running
they're
the show.
household names. He brought in Phil Jackson. That was a total
Was
debacle.
Daryl Morey a household name years ago?
Oh yes, he was.
Was R.C. Buford a household name years ago?
Years ago.
No, you have to prove yourself.
Okay. Oh, so you think they're just going to prove themselves in the next couple of years while the Lakers are stacking chips?
Scott Perry helped build that team in Detroit that won the championship without a superstar in 2004.
Yeah, 2004.
Great.
Okay, great.
Scott
so the Knicks
Perry
are on the right path.
was in Oklahoma City and Seattle. Seattle when they drafted Kevin Durant.
Ooh, I would have never taken
has a
Durant
good-
second overall. I mean, geez. Okay.
You probably
I
wouldn't.
believe I won a dinner off you last week with our bet about LeBron first team all defense. I'm going to double down. I will take you and your wife and your 2 daughters out if the Knicks win a title before the Lakers. Oh yeah, he's afraid, people. He's afraid. I backed you into a corner.
That's totally different than the discussion right now.
Brighter future. What is a brighter future?
The Lakers are a much
getting to a playoff game.
The Lakers
Get out of
are
here.
a much better franchise.
Yes,
than
that's
the
why
Knicks.
they have a brighter
There's
future.
no question. Nobody's debating that. I can't put the Knicks even in the same category as the Lakers.
So it's
franchise.
Victory McIntyre.
What we're talking about.
People love me. Oh, gosh, I'm just destroying you.
People
this
don't
week.
love that shirt.
Oh,
I'll tell you
it's
that
a
much.
funny shirt. Oh, and there's laughter from the peanut gallery over my
And
shirt.
thank God they can't say your shoes.
These
What are
kicks,
those?
I didn't.
Anyway.
These are weak. I don't know. Man.
They not Nikes, Adidas. What are
Oh,
they? Big
I'm
baller
not
brand?
flossing the big
what
baller
are
brand
they?
like you.
I'm
I
wearing
need. I need to
Jordans.
get on your level.
What
Okay,
do
fine.
you-
I'll
really?
only wear Jordans from now on to get on.
I
Chris
tell you
Broussard's
what,
level.
you cannot
Hey,
come on
when
the
are you gonna
zone
give me
and
some of these
buddies?
When are
man.
you?
You can't come on the zone.
When
and
are you gonna
buddies.
give me some free Jordans? I know you're in with all the players.
Man,
Hey, Maverick Carter, I know you're watching. Hook
Showing
a
up
brother
with those, I don't.
So, see, when he
I can't
loses
go
a
to
debate, Lakers have a brighter future than the Knicks. He's got to resort to the personal attack.
See,
I will have none of this, Chris.
Knockdown Jay. I knocked him down, but he keeps getting up every single week for more and more beatdowns.
I got to flex
We'll
on
see
that.
y'all next week. Remember, go to iTunes, go to Apple Podcasts, go to SoundCloud, and check us out in the zone. We'll see you next week.